If you love what we do, then please consider supporting Cryptfail on Patreon. Your support helps us grow and to create more content more often. And now, on with the show. You have said your goodbyes to Kitsune, who was very happy to have met you. You have both found that you are a few coins lighter than you were before meeting her.
I only have Koku, so how much did she take?
1.
Oh, God.
She took 1 Koku?
Oh, my God. Each?
Yep.
Rude. We saved your life.
That's the price for being really good saviors.
She would say a girl's got to do what a girl's got to do. The air is cold. It doesn't feel unnaturally cold like you have experienced before, but the wind is howling somewhat through the trees. It's not a gale force, but the trees are just giving it that sound as the cold wind blows. It has been snowing and the sky is overcast. You are starting to feel the effects of the day of movement along the road. The road itself is quite good. You've actually feel you've hit one of the more main roads. It has been stone, largely, and well looked after overall. And there's been some mile markers and stuff like that. So you've been pretty sure that you're heading on one of the more main roads leading into a town. You can see in the distance a medium-sized town with a large wooden fence protecting it and a gatehouse.
On the way out of town, when leaving town, because she would have explained to you, probably in sign language, which it would be hard for her to do it otherwise. Daisuke would have told you that Rin was having something prepared, so it was going to be a 4-day wait. So we had to wait in the town for 4 days, and then on the way out of town, we stopped off at the local armourer, and Rin walked inside and came out with a folded set of keikoki clothes. They're in the colours of the Fox clan, specifically. The main colour is the reddish-brown of the Fox clan, and it is like the seams, and down the front is silver in colour. But it looks like it's been made really well. Would offer a significant amount of protection considering what you normally wear, which is just normal travelling clothes. Yeah, she would have set a gift.
For what reason?
And Rid would have looked at you and a little bit confused, and she signs friends.
Yes, but I can't just take something. Allow me to pay you somehow?
And a stern expression would have crossed her face. and she would have signed more forcefully a gift
I
between
see.
friends.
Then I am very grateful. Thank you.
And she would have handed you the clothes. Were you walking or riding? You were walking, right?
Well, yeah, you're the only one with a horse.
Oh, yeah. I'm the only one with a horse.
Well, half of you.
Yeah, that is very true. Well, Daisuke explained to you that Rin saw that you needed clothes because we could encounter, lords, and she felt bad because she felt she was overdressed compared to you, but also recognized that she didn't want you also to be stabbed again.
I'm liking the reasoning of, one, your clothes aren't fancy enough.
Yep.
Two, don't get stabbed again. Have some clothes.
Yeah, look good and do not get stabbed.
She will be very appreciative. I could practice hunting in my armor.
Byakuya-san, there is no way that you would be hunting in ceremonial clothes.
Actually, you are quite right. I wouldn't be.
So it's decided then.
I suppose that is what you take away from that statement. Yes.
We only have a little ways to go. I'll see if I can't go out and quickly grab a rabbit or two. 3 companions, one riding into town and the other 2 are walking. Okay, so Rin will be riding her horse, into town.
Yep. Chiaki will walk alongside the horse.
And as you approach, you can see the gatehouse. There are 2 outside armed with spears. They are wearing blue and white. And they bow as you approach, and you can see the crane symbol.
Daisuke will pull the horse up to a stop with spearmen. Yeah.
So as you approach, one moves into the road, but both bow to you. Politely.
Yep. Daisuke does a little bow. Just as acknowledgement.
Yep. Chiaki will as well, although they may not be able to see because she's kind of standing behind, but that's fine.
The one on the road looks at Rin specifically and says, "You have come at a fortuitous time for the clan. Our lord would be pleased to make your acquaintance."
Rin looks down but doesn't say anything. Her expression's sort of plain. And Daisuke says, "An opportune time for our clan. Is there something your lord needs assistance with?"
And the 2 crane samurai look at Daisuke a little strange.
"Forgive me, my master has no voice."
They seem to ponder this for a few seconds. "There is a situation that has developed of which you may be able to help with."
My master would like to know what it is that your lord needs help with.
That would not be our place to say. Lord Neo Asashina is in the main government building in the centre of town. Being Crane, he will be happy to see you.
Rin bows, and Daisuke can hear the almost the ruffling of some of her clothes as she does this, and he says, "My master thanks you. We will go see your lord. We will go see your lord now."
And they bow, and he moves aside back to his original position.
And as they walk into the town, Chiaki will stay quite close against Amaya and, not really look at either guard.
And the town is definitely the best that you have been in. There is certainly more money in this than some of the other towns. And there's certainly more merchants. And the town feels like merchants have been possibly encouraged compared to some of the clans that see them as a necessary evil or just evil in some way. It does feel like this is a big trade town in the region. The buildings aren't run down. They're not necessarily opulent, but they're sturdy and they're clean and it feels orderly. The streets, the peasants seem healthy for the most part. They do not look like they're starving. They seem reasonably happy. The samurai and the shiriguru that are patrolling, they don't seem to be doing so in an aggressive way, necessarily looking for trouble. It's just they seem to have a presence. So whether that presence has deterred over the time excessive trouble, or if it's now more ceremonial or not, it's hard to tell, but the town itself does seem quite decent. And the centre of town is a large courtyard. Like, it seems to have 4 ways in from each north, south, east and west of the town, all lead into this large courtyard, which in the middle is a 3-storey building, which is fenced off by stone rather than wood. And there is 2 guards outside.
Daisuke leads Amaya up to the Lord's building and lets go of the reins and sort of moves forward towards the guards. As my master, Miss Saito-san, is here to see Lord now.
And one of them turns and motions, and a shiriguru runs up, and he turns back. He can take care of your horse, and he points to a building to the left and says, your companions may wait there.
And he starts to say, I thought I just told you that...
Oh, excuse me. And Chiaki is going to sort of step out where she was behind Daisuke and bow lower than she might normally and say, we are truly sorry for the inconvenience. Saito-san does not speak and thus will require interpreters.
And he didn't seem to be prepared for this. And he takes a moment and he's thinking, and then he looks back
and Rin frowns displeasingly at the guy.
And he's like, please wait a moment. And he turns and he hurries up the stairs and he starts talking to a older gentleman who's in very nice silken crane hakama and kimono. He walks down and he bows slightly, so he's obviously someone of importance.
Daisuke and Rin bow.
And Chiaki will bow.
He takes in all 3 of you. He looks at each of you carefully. Not rudely, but you definitely feel he is summing you up in his own mind. And then he looks at Rin and he says, if your companions swear that they will never speak of what is spoken in that room, then they may enter.
We will not speak of this to anyone.
And Chiaki gives an odd glance towards the horse suddenly and then turns back.
What's wrong with the horse?
The horse has said something.
Yep, the horse has said. The horse has spoken.
It has. And Chiaki is looking toward the other two and Chiaki will turn back and bow again and say, I swear that I will not speak of what transpires. I have never lied, and I do not intend to start now.
Very well. Attend to the horse. I will take responsibility.
So Rin dismounts, and Daisuke hands off the reins to the two spearmen. Rin, I guess, gracefully shuffles up the stairs with Daisuke in tow.
Chiaki will follow along.
And he leads you up the stairs and then to the left rather than the right, where the other samurai had originally said your companions could wait. And he approaches a large set of double doors, and there's two samurai kneeling outside, and they step forward towards the center of the door and slide it open. And it's quite a nice large room. It looks very comfortable. It's very blue. And there is a table in the middle, and there's tea and some basic, sort of more snack food. Stuff that's not messy.
And Chiaki is definitely feeling grateful that she has at least slightly fancier clothing now. And Chiaki is very much following behind and waiting to see what Rin does so she can copy it.
Please wait here.
And Chiaki would have followed and kneeled at the table as well.
Rin, after she's prepared the tea, will pour the tea.
So it takes about half an hour, and you're not sure if this is because the Lord is busy or if because they are giving you time to eat and drink. But the door across from you, not the entrance in, slides open, and you can see that there is two samurai that have slid the doors open and another 6 that are kneeling, and it's a larger room, and it's about 100 feet long, and at the end of it there is a slight dais, and there is a older gentleman dressed in blue and silver. And Chiaki can see from that distance that there is certain elements about him that show that he is quite possibly a Shukenja. He has 2 swords, both blue, which are sitting on a rack behind him, and he has a small table to the side.
And again, Chiaki is very much looking to Rin for an example of what to do. And Adam goes, why did I make my character be good at etiquette and all that? And I say, I don't know, but at least it's not me.
Rin will step up and away from the table and into the center of the room and kneel down on the floor with her sort of hands out in front of her and bowing while kneeling.
And Chiaki's copying, so she'll do that too.
And Daisuke will be beside Chiaki.
And as everyone's entered the room, behind you, you hear the doors slide closed with a soft click. And they also, you think, meet in the middle perfectly. One doesn't arrive before the other. It's like, it's very precise.
The timing is...
Yeah, it's very, it's something they seem to take pride in, more so than possibly some of the other clans. Okay, so one of the samurai furthest from you on the right motions and doesn't point like, but motions to the front of the room where there is 3 cushions placed on the floor.
Rin will get up, followed by Daisuke, who's sitting behind them, and she will shuffle with a head down at looking at the cushion, and she'll go and kneel on the cushion. Daisuke does the same, but he takes longer strides. He's obviously less elegant. He takes the cushion on the left. Rin takes the cushion in the middle.
And Chiaki will take the last one.
And the samurai move down to sort of similar positions that they had closer, not aggressively so that you feel that they are there specifically for you sort of thing, but at the same time you realise they are the bodyguards. So, and he's about 60, he's got shrewd eyes, somewhat cold. Chiaki's familiar with some of that from Shugenja. Some of them are sort of detached a little bit. He appears healthy. And much like his chief of staff, he's watching you and making, you're sure, a judgment call. And finally he says, I request a favour. I have been asked by Lady Chuku. She comes from a small household. Her husband has passed away, and she has requested that his swords be returned to her. The nature of it is somewhat delicate. She will not wish to explain, and neither do I. Discretion is important.
No, she's very much looking at Rin, though, as in, I mean, Daisuke normally translates, but she can if she needs to, and also Rin's the only one who needs to say anything, so.
Rin sort of glances at Daisuke. My master, Miss Saito-san, would like to know where the swords are presently.
They are in a crane village, 3 days' travel from here.
And Rin looks up at the Lord and then back to Daisuke and signs something quite quickly to him. My master, Saito-san, has agreed to attend the situation. I, as well as Miss Byakuya-san here, will use the utmost discretion.
And a samurai slides forward 1 step and holds out a folded, at both ends, piece of paper. And he's holding it at one end and resting it on his other hand, and he's holding it out towards her.
And she will take it, being as she's the closest one.
The address of the lady in question.
Thank you, my lord. And Daisuke bows and Rin bows.
And Chiaki bows.
Rin sort of gets up from kneeling quite gracefully and backs down the distance between the cushion and the door, and as she's near the door she will turn and leave.
And there is a samurai standing outside, waiting to lead you back to the gate. And the horse is there, looks to have been groomed and fed.
And Amaya probably looks happy. Daisuke will grab Amaya, and is the address of the ladies in town, right? Yes.
And Chiaki has the paper with the address and will hand it over if he wishes to see it.
And it is a small household that seems reasonably well kept from the outside.
Daisuke will walk up the steps to the doors and lightly knock.
And the door opens, and it is a woman. She would be about 50. She's wearing a silken kimono. It is blue and white with a tinge of silver. And she looks like life has spent some time.
Lady Chuku, Lord Now has sent us to aid you in the recovery of your husband's swords.
And she steps back and motions for you to enter.
And enters the home. And soon after, Daisuke...
And Chiaki follows into the house.
And the room is elegant and colourful. Quite nice. There is a child about 5 playing off to the side.
When Chiaki notices that although Daisuke has walked over and begun engaging the child, that the lady has not turned her head or remotely acknowledged that anything is happening in this area of the room at all, she's just going to quickly slip over, shut the door slightly, and then return to where she was standing before. And the kid's like, yay, someone's paying attention to me.
And yeah, it's one thing you definitely feel is she is ignoring the child. My husband Nagao is a vassal of Lord Mifune. He recently died in a village 3 days away. I request the return of his daisho. And she takes a small wrapped parcel and places it in front of her and pushes it across. It is a coin wrap. And she says, I am willing to pay them for the return of the swords.
And considering Daisuke has gone off to entertain a child, Chiaki is now looking at Rin to see if she will say anything, because she can then translate that.
Rin looks down at the coin wrap and back up at the lady, at Lady Chuku, and sort of half turns to Daisuke, who's playing with the child off in one corner and obviously having fun, and her face frowns, and she turns back to Chiaki and she signs,
Saito-san is wondering why there would be a need to pay.
There may be a necessity.
Saito-san understands.
almost with concern on her face, and she signs,
Saito-san would like to know if we should prepare for trouble?
You are samurai. There is no reason for you to get into trouble.
no, but she turns back to the lady and nods.
I look forward to seeing your successful completion of this request.
And she looks at Chiaki and signs, he's beautiful, and then turns to her.
Saito-san says he is a beautiful child.
How long do you think it will take to complete this request?
But Rin's now a little bit concerned, so she has concerns about the motive behind why she wants the swords back now. So that's part of the strife. And she's also worried about the child. She signs something to Daisuke, and Daisuke says, well, my master, Miss Saito, says that with 3 days travel there and 3 days travel return, she expects that we should be no longer than 1 or 2 days given the circumstances.
Excellent. I very much look forward to the resolution of this matter.
And Rin turns back to Chiaki and...
With condolences, Saito-san would like to ask how your husband passed away.
I do not know.
The lady square in the eyes and bow, sit back up, and stand up, look down at Chiaki and sign.
We will stay in town tonight and leave tomorrow.
Very good.
The Legend of the Five Rings role-playing game is available from Edge Studios, starring raveninsane as Rin, Emily as Chiaki, and Ghost as the storyteller. Sounds and music were provided by Sirenscape and Nash Music Library. This has been a Crit Fail production. Thank you very much for listening.